Hi, everybody. My name is John DePietro.
And I'm Bob Zagami with the Camper Report Show.
Bob, on today's Camper Report Show, I'm going to be talking with the principal of Big Rig Media. And what they do is find out who the brand new RVer is and how to market to that new market.
Well, a lot of potential there. I've got a double header. I've got Marc and Julie Bennett, best-selling authors of Living the RV Life, and their new book is out this week. It's called RV Hacks, and just checked a little while ago, it's already #1 in the general travel category on Amazon.
There you go. So that is our show, plus all the news of the week right here on
the Camper Report Show.
Stay with us, everybody.
Sleeping on the short RV queen topper is as comfortable as sleeping at home. Now that we have the topper on there, it's made all the difference. It's really comfortable.
And the comfort comes from the fact that it's not too firm, nor is it too soft. It's kind of the right level of comfort for being out, especially when you're away from home.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the news segment of the Camper Report Show. My name is John DePietro, and I'm with my colleague, Bob Zagami. And Bob, new things happening in the RV industry all the time. And the new thing is kind of an old thing because there's new stuff going on at Tiffin Motorhomes. There's a brand new president. Tell us about that.
Lee Tiffin has been named the president of the company. He is the son of Van Tiffin, who is the son of Bob Tiffin. So
another way to say it is he's the grandson of the founder.
I liked it my way. So the Tiffin family retains control, even though they are owned by Thor, but Thor does, in fact, leave them alone, each of their operating divisions, and lets them go it on their own and develop their own program. So congratulations to Lee on that.
You know,
would you like a little bit of trivia?
He's certainly no rookie or newcomer to the industry because he's kind of grown up in it for, the two generations above him. But I understand that he helped start the towable section of Tiffin. And I understand that they're coming out with a brand new product called the Tailgater, specifically made to go to Alabama football games. Is there any particular reason that Alabama is so near and dear to the heart of the Tiffin family?
Just like you have Tiffin, you have Alabama. And they know a little bit about football, besides just sitting there and having a good tailgate meal before the game. Now, going back to what you said, they did form, he and his father, Van Lee Trailers, which when they developed the fifth wheel line, which has now been incorporated, and that's Van the father and Lee the son, and their relationship continued on the football field. Van actually holds the all-time record at Alabama for field goals, 57 yards when he played, 57-yard field goal when he played there in 2006 to 2009, the longest field goal in Alabama history. Not to be outdone, when Lee got there, Lee left with 2 records. He's got the most points scored by kicking in a career and the most field goals in a career, 83. Now that says Lee it was Lee that went there 2006, 2009. Sorry, I don't have the years for Van. But incredible football records, incredible tailgates, and because they're made in Red Bay, Alabama, there are always a ton of Tiffin motorhomes and Tiffin products at every Alabama game.
And the continuity part of the whole thing is that Bob Tiffin, the founder, remains at CEO level. So you know what? Even though the company have new owners, the Tiffin family are still going to be very heavily involved. And it's always good to see that Bob Tiffin is still going to be as active as ever. In fact, he might be around at more consumer events than ever before because now he won't have the day-to-day activity to deal with in Red Bay.
Right. Yep. Well, I'm looking forward. Hopefully we'll catch up to him in Hershey or at Dealer Open House this year if they come up and have an exhibit.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things that is very important to the industry as well, as our friend Kurt Hemmler, who is the director of RVTI, which is the RV Training Institute. Technical Institute, Training Institute, anyway, they train. They go out and find new people
Technical Institute,
to work as technicians in the field. He is now, as we speak, out in Las Vegas at a convention of school counselors, the
American School Counselor Association.
Yep. And they
Yep.
are like the guidance people. They tell kids where to go, or they make it available to new careers out there for kids that may not have ever thought of an RV tech. Not necessarily that you're going to be doing that your whole life, but it at least gets them into the industry. And based on the growth of the industry that we report about here every week, we need new blood, we need young blood, we need people that are trained to come into the industry. Talk about the way Kurt is doing that.
Yeah, there's two points to this particular announcement. One is they actually have an exhibit. They're a display exhibit working with Camping World, and they have a trailer on display to talk to the counselors about the industry and about the career opportunities. And the other thing that Camping World will talk to them about, Camping World is a authorized learning partner for RVTI. And some of these larger technical schools or private colleges could in fact become authorized learning partners for the RV industry and for RVTI.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a good way, and it was always one of the intentions of the program, was to go after high school graduates in trade schools early on to show them the full career potential, that it wasn't just something you could do for the summer, which it was, many, many years ago, but this is a full-fledged career. It was one of the top 3 occupations for growth last year in the United States. So it's good visibility all the way around. And I know at the local level, you and I have had conversations with Kurt about doing something in the Worcester County Sheriff's Office. And I've had presentations at local tech schools and private tech colleges where we have an RV career day and bring RVs in and introduce them to the students. So I like this, and I think we'll see a lot of expansion at that level to get exposure to these kids.
Yeah, and moving along those same lines, in my visit to Elkhart just last week, virtually every manufacturer and every component manufacturer that I went by, the help wanted sign is up. So along with RVTI, there is the NRVTA, the National RV Training Academy, also run by friends of ours in the industry. And you know what? They've got some new building going on in Texas.
Yep, they're growing so fast, they couldn't wait for a big building to go, and they got the big red schoolhouse. So they went to a modular building that was just delivered and will be up and running later on this summer, that they're going to call the tiny red schoolhouse. And that's going to be specifically for the RV inspection program. So in the big red schoolhouse, they had been doing the technical service training, but also the training to become an RV inspector. So they have so much demand for the technical training programs that they had to move the RV inspectors out. So now they're going to have their own separate building and another one that's really done professionally and geared towards high-level education and training. And the industry needs RV inspectors more and more. And
more and more.
Just like a home inspector, but we're gonna need more. The banks haven't required it yet, but the day will come, just as when you buy a house, they're going to say, did you get an RV inspection? Or you have to get an RV inspection. They're putting a lot of money into the loans, and that's something that you'll see coming, and they're the leading edge of it right now down at the National RV Training Academy.
Yep. And they want to, the banks want to protect their investment. And you know what? It's to the benefit of the consumer as well, because their investment needs to be protected also.
Yep.
Now, the only other interesting bit of news, and you say good news, bad news, RV prices are rising. No, excuse me, gas prices are rising, and people, in prior cycles have said that rising prices leads to lower sales. Not the case at all. The demand is still continuing as gasoline prices and diesel prices rise.
I agree, and I don't think we'll see a decrease. Historically, anytime we had exceptionally high gasoline prices, nobody stopped camping and nobody stopped RVing. They just traveled less miles.
Yeah.
So if you're going to take a 300-mile vacation, they take a 100-mile vacation. They fully RVers are very smart people. They fully understand that you're not going to get the mileage out of an RV that you get with your family car. By the same token, you don't use it that often and you don't go that far with it traditionally. When you think about it, the average RVer only does 6,000 to 7,000 miles a year, and that's a pretty active RV. Yeah. I mean, some people only use their travel trailer 2 or 3 weekends a year, and maybe a long vacation. So gas is not going to be a deterrent. It wasn't a deterrent even when it went to $5 a gallon years ago. It'll come back down. So I don't see that as being a big impact on the industry at all. Right now, it's averaging $3.14, and for the most part, certainly here in the Northeast, it's really stabilized the last month or so. It was starting to creep up there, but it's been pretty constant the last month.
Great. So that's the wrap on all the news for the week on the Camp Report Show. Stay with us. We have 2 blockbuster, not just regular segments, 2 blockbuster segments coming up right here. Where, Bob?
The Camper Report Show.
We'll be right back.
I'm Jesse from Outsiders Calling, and I love adventurous family travel with my wife Jenny and our son Tucker.
For over 3 years, we've RV'd across the U.S. and Mexico, and it's tough to find places that meet all our needs.
Now we plan our trips with the RV Trip Wizard. Pull it up in the RV Life app, select it, and go.
It helps us discover amazing new places to grow together as a family.
RV Trip Wizard with the RV Life app is an awesome trip planning combination.
You can get both for one low annual price. Check out rvlife.com to learn more.
Okay, welcome back everybody to the Camper Report Show. And today my special guests are Julie and Marc Bennett, best-selling authors of Living the RV Life, soon to be best-selling authors of RV Hacks. How you guys doing out there?
Doing great, Bob. It's so good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while. So
busy.
I assume you are. So tomorrow you launch your new book. Tell us a little bit about the new book. Then we want to go back and give folks a little bit of your history in case they don't know you. But let's talk about the new one that's coming out tomorrow.
Sure. Well, this is our second book. It's called RV Hacks.
There you go.
400 plus ways to make life on the road easier, safer, and more fun. And it's professionally published by the same publisher that we worked with to produce Living the RV Life. And we're really excited about this one because, we're excited about the first one too. We're excited about this one because there are so many RVs out there hitting the road now. And, you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been RVing, we all love to pick up tricks and tips to make things easier and just to save time and things that you could take years to learn. And there's such a steep learning curve. I think when you're new, you're just it's like drinking from a fire hose. And this is a great way to be able to, you can read the book from front to back, or you can open at any page and just learn a hack or two and just put those into practice. But I just think it's a fun, easy read, Bob. I think that's what's good about it. And there are little things and even things that you can share with other campers. I think that's where we've learned a lot through our own experience and coming up with our own hacks and solutions over the years to little problems that we wanted to fix and resolve or make things better. But then meeting people, we've met thousands of RVers over the years, and you see things around the campground and think, wow, that was really cool. And
that was a good idea.
That was a good idea.
I can see people sitting around the campfire, having an adult beverage, and with 3 or 4 of them pulling out the book, saying, "This is my favorite. This is my favorite." The way it's laid out is really very professional, and the fact that you got the chapters that if you want to talk about pets or you want to talk about driving, you can just go directly to that. But I can see it being the talk of the campground because I think my quote. Read the top quote on the back of the book.
Thank you for doing a quote for this book, Bob. We really appreciate it. And just this is the back cover, everyone. And Bob is up the top there with flashing lights, and he says, Bob Zagami, Executive Director of New England RV Dealers Association and host of the Camper Report, says a copy of RV Hacks should be in every RV on the road today. Thank you. I think so too, because there's so much to learn, isn't there, in the RV life? You never stop learning.
You never stop learning.
And so, if you can pick up 400 plus ways to make it easier from the get-go, then you're going to be in good shape, I think.
Well, tell the folks how you get into RVing and what led up to your first book.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, we got into RVing back in 2014 is when we hit the road full time. And a big part of it is we just wanted to be able to spend more time together, spend more time with our dog, and travel the country with limited time off. And so we just decided, hey, an RV is a great way to have your home with you everywhere you go, no matter where you go. And then we traveled all 50 states. We
while
started
working full time.
Yeah, while still working full time. And then we just launched our RV Love blog posts and YouTubes. And those are really fun. We're getting a lot of good feedback from helping people. And then we launched our school, RV Success School. And then the publisher reached out to us and said, hey, we feel like a book is really needed in this space, and we feel you're the ones to write it. And we're, you know what? We agree. So we
thank you.
So we wrote the book, Living the RV Life, as a way to quickly, and concisely bring people up to speed and really educate them on what the lifestyle is all about, and that we're not just a bunch of crazy folks out there, that there really is a lot to be said for the lifestyle.
Well, sorry.
Yeah, I think it's also important. This is a division of Simon & Schuster, and that's one of the top publishers in the world.
Yeah.
And I find you two in an RV and say, you ought to write a book. So they saw something in your lifestyle and your personalities that said, this is going to be a really good book. And Living the RV Life is in all the big stores, certainly Barnes & Noble, certainly online. And it was a great hit.
Yeah, when it launched, it was in Costco. Now it's in Target. And then actually this week it's come out in Audible version. It's being professionally narrated now. And not by us, but we did find an Australian woman to do Julie's voice. And we've got 4 different voices, professionals.
So we haven't even heard it yet. So we're waiting. We're out in our camper at the moment, and it's waiting for us at our mailbox. So we'll get it when we get home. But
so it's coming out tomorrow, and you haven't heard it. And it's
same day.
And it's your
July
book.
13th. Yeah. So RV Hacks comes out the same day. This is print and digital, and then Living the RV Life is already print and digital and now audio. So, audible.com and Apple and Google, and it's really cool. It's pretty exciting to think that it's going to be funny, Bob, listening to our book, read not in our voices, but I think the information's all going to be there, which is the main thing. But they'll probably do a better job than we would have.
That's true. So you started out, you had several different motorhomes, and I know now you get a trailer. So kind of walk us through your evolution, because I want to get to the conversion of the country coach, but tell us how you started, where you started.
Well, we started off with a 2012 Tiffin 35 QBA. So it's like a gas-powered bunkhouse model that we converted the bunkhouse into an office space, because back then I had a regular full-time job for another employee that I had to have my dedicated time at the desk every day. And that worked out really well for us. We traveled in that for about 3.5 years. And then we towed a Mini Cooper convertible behind that.
On a tow dolly.
On a tow dolly. That was a really fun little zippy car after driving the big bus. And then a few years later, we decided to switch to a 1999 Country Coach Intrigue, 40-foot diesel pusher with a single slide. And we towed a Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk, so we could do some little off-roading with it.
So that was a 4-down tow.
But we did a major renovation on that coach, and really brought it up to a modern style. And we called it the Ultimate RV Makeover on our YouTube series. And it was a lot of fun to do that. And it turned out to be a very beautiful, one-of-a-kind coach. And
that renovation we did fully off grid, because before we did the reno, we actually got lithium batteries, battlebore lithium batteries. We got ZAMP solar panels, so we're all decked out with this really cool off grid system. And we drove up to Oregon. This is in the middle of summer in 2018, and parked on our friend's property. He's got an Airbnb property and had room for us to park our RV, and he had his RV there. And he's a follower that we met in the campground in Palm Springs once. We stayed in touch and became good friends, and said, "Well, you keep inviting us up, if you're serious, we're going to take you up on it, but we're not just going to come visit. We're going to do a whole RV renovation on your property. And he's like, sure, come on up and I'll help you. So that's a good friend right there. Thanks, Brett. But and Janelle, his lovely wife. But we parked there for 2 months, I think.
2 months.
And we did not plug the coach in that whole time, Bob. So it was luckily, I mean, the conditions were right. We were up in Oregon and it was the middle of summer. And so we had the perfect conditions. But yeah, we did the whole renovation, power tools and all fully off grid. That was really cool.
But now we're mixing up travel totally different from the Class A towing a car style. Now we're using that same Jeep. We're out in our 2019 Casita Freedom Deluxe,
17
little
feet.
17-foot eggshell,
Feet.
eggshell camper. And it's really fun though. It's a really cute little camper. It's really mixes up our travel. So now we can go to the places we couldn't very well go with those big coaches. So we go off-road more and have more of that immersive off.
But I need to preface that for those that may not be aware, we were full-time in the big motorhomes. And last summer, we were coming through Colorado visiting family, and we ended up buying a small home as a home base and then selling the big motorhome and getting the little camper, because some people are confused and think we're full-timing in this little camper. It's like, no. I know some people do.
Some people do, but
no,
not us.
Definitely
not.
No.
Well, it's certainly interesting that you go from 40-foot diesel pusher to a small Casita. But it's also your love of the RV lifestyle, which is it's your website, rvlove.com. That's what you're all about. What I find interesting, having known you for a couple of years now, is you do everything really well, but you do it faster than most people. I mean, you did.
Really? I don't know if it feels fast.
How many people do you know that could do a total renovation of a 40-foot diesel pusher in 1 or 2 weeks? It was 1 week.
Oh, it was actually about 4 weeks. It was a month, but we had a team of people helping us.
Yeah.
And the secret to that, Bob, is you just really don't sleep. we were doing 18-hour days. Poor Marc was working so hard. We'd be, laying floor till 10 at night and then collapse. And, it was funny because we've spoken to a few other people like Rick Kessler from RV Business saying, well, how did you live in it throughout that? And well, I said, living is a bit of a creative term. I said, we slept in there and we took a shower, and the rest of it, I wouldn't really call living, because it was a mess. It was a mess. And we were just so lucky that our friends cooked us dinner nearly every night, which was fantastic.
We need some guidance on that though, Bob, on making longer term, because our books, we write them on both short timelines.
Yeah, we're doing something
we keep doing these short timeline big
we
projects.
Slow things down a bit, I think, just but that's what's one of the good things about, we are called RV Love because we do love all aspects of the lifestyle, and we love the different experiences that each rig and each travel experience offers. So having a newer motorhome was great when we started out. It was 2 years old. It was great. It was pretty reliable, and we had a warranty on it, so that we didn't have to stress if things needed to be fixed. The second one, it was a lot more work, but it was a great experience for Marc to learn how to DIY and fix a lot of stuff. And it was very personally rewarding, a lot of work, more than people will ever realize, before you get into that. But it was personally rewarding, and to see the end result. And then I think just good confidence building that you can do it. And I think, that's what we aim to do with the RV Hacks book too, is to give people that sense of confidence that when you're faced with a situation, you've got this, that you can do it. And it sparks more creative thinking. But now in this one, just the ability to get off road and I think we don't work as much in this camper. We go out and we have camping trips. And so we always used to plan our travels around internet coverage so we could work. That was critical. Now we don't. Now we actually like going out for 3 or 4 days and you don't have internet and you really can unplug. And so that's so different to how we traveled the first 6 years,
very different
isn't it?
style. Mm-hmm.
So I think we like that too, but only for the shorter periods. I mean, longer periods would be harder to do that, but we like the balance.
If we look at your career in the RV industry, what advice would you have for a young couple like yourself that are working, and now with all the emphasis on remote working and being able to do everything that we want to do for the road, what advice would you give somebody in your position before you did it? If you were talking to them today, what would you tell them about why should they do it?
Why should they RV or why should they work from the road? I mean, for me,
tie them both together.
A lot of people are doing that now. There's a lot of articles, isn't there, about people hitting the road and not coming back. This
last year was massive for the introduction of people into the concept of working remotely, and RVing is really the top of the pinnacle of that, working remotely, because you're always in a new experience. And I think the piece of advice I'd have is just to try and maintain the separation, maintain the balance of, having your work life and your personal life as separate as you can, so that you can really get out and enjoy and immerse in one or the other and have that separation. And that was really key for me when we first hit the road. And that became a challenge when we worked so much on our business. But I think that it really can be an amazing lifestyle, that you can have so many experiences, even with limited time off, because you just, as soon as you finish work for the day, you got to be disciplined to get your work done, and it's not just be overly tempted by the outdoors. But it's so great to, as soon as you're off work, you're in an amazing new location to go explore.
And creating that structure, like some people would have a commute to work, get out of the RV, go for a walk in the morning, have a shower, like have those structures in your day. That, okay, I'm going to work now, because it is tempting when all these cool places are right outside your door, but then you get done and then enjoy the view outside of your window and just it's I think it's fantastic. I think the way that technology's evolved over the last decade, and specifically the last 5 years, has just made it so much more possible for people to do this. So much easier
now than it was for
we don't have to wait for don't have to wait to retirement to go do this, and I think that's huge.
Well, we only got a couple minutes left, but quickly talk about the RV Success School, because you've taken a lot of what you learned since 2014, and now you have an online course. Talk a little bit about that for people who want to pick up the books and maybe do a little bit more extended studying through your program.
Well, exactly what you just said. That's where the RV Success School is really designed for people who want to dig a lot deeper. The books the RV Hacks is great for any RVer out there at all. Living the RV Life is a great book for people who want to do a little bit more extended and really understand the lifestyle a bit more. And then the RV Success School is a place to go to if you really want to set yourself up for success and have all of your, get it all your ducks in a row, so to speak, before you hit the road.
Yeah, and it's like a guided coaching program, Bob. We kind of take them through. It's like virtually holding the hand through the process, and a lot of learning in there for sure.
And we'll put all of that information below. All right, our guests today have been Marc and Julie Bennett, RV Love, authors of Living the RV Life. The new book, want to hold that up again one more time, Julie? RV Hacks, out tomorrow.
Hacks. You can find it everywhere.
Well, we say tomorrow. The show is going to be posted on Friday, so Tuesday of this week. So by the time this show airs on Friday, it's in the bookstores, it's online. Wish you the best of luck with it. I'm sure that you're going to have your number 2 bestseller with it. Of course, if you do 2, then we're going to look for number 3. So you better start.
We need a little rest first.
Give it a little break in between.
Break in between.
Thank you very much for joining us on the Camper Report Show, and we will see you down the road.
Yes, we will. Thanks, Bob. Bye.
I know.
Mike here from RV Blogger. Don't waste hundreds of dollars on an external GPS for your RV. All you need to do is download the RV Life app right onto your phone. This app is so cool. It has RV GPS built right into it. So you can load all the specific measurements and weights for your RV. It'll give you directions safe for your RV to follow. And by the way, if you have RV Trip Wizard, directions for your trips upload into this GPS automatically.
Hey everybody, it's John DePietro. Welcome back to the Camper Report Show. You know what, folks? For the last year that we've been doing the show, one of the things that has stayed the same in the RV industry, in the camping industry, in the campground industry is change. That's right. The one thing that has stayed the same is change. And today we're going to talk about the new RVer. We've always talked about the changing demographics of the RV industry and the new buyers of RVs. And now with 50% of the people buying an RV last year, buying it for the first time, there's lots of new people to market to. And one of the things that you have to do when you market to people to fill up spots in RV parks is you have to get the right message to them. And joining me all the way from the other side of California, in the other side of America in California, is Jeff Beyer, who is the founder and CEO of Big Rig Media. Jeff, welcome to the Camper Report Show.
Thanks, John, for having me on. I appreciate it, and I'm excited to talk to you about how to pack your park and how to market your park in the 21st century.
Yeah, exactly. And, a lot of the people that are part of our audience aren't necessarily park owners. I mean, some are, but a lot of these people might have feedback to us about what is the best way to reach them. So with that being said, the first question is, where did you get the name Big Rig Marketing? And then tell us what your business is about and who your clients are.
Yeah, absolutely. So Big Rig Media started in 2000, and I had a background in the entertainment industry, and my partner and I at the time, came up with a company back in January of 2000, Big Rig Media. We're hauling ass down the internet information highway. And so at the time, we were kind of the only, company in Los Angeles, doing like website development and digital marketing. And, I didn't know 10 years later, Big Rig Media would be an excellent name in the, RV industry.
Well, it certainly fits. It certainly fits the industry. When you look at your client list, you see a lot of the clients are people that reach out to that big rig owner. But Jeff, I'm sure in the past year, since COVID, you have seen through your client base a new client that's out there. And in order to reach that client, because it's not the same person, it's not the person who waited till 65 to retire and then buy an RV. Everybody's buying RVs right now. And as we discussed earlier, there are people that are now able to hit the road in an RV and still carry on their business. How does your company differentiate itself from all the other companies that say, we're the experts in marketing to RVers?
Yeah, absolutely. So one, we take we're more of an engineering firm. So we do take a technical approach, when we, have a resort that we work with. And so, the main goal, when you're marketing to a new RVer is that you got to have a killer website that performs on all, mediums, desktop, laptop or desktop, mobile, tablet, etc. And it's also easy to find. So, when you market, a lot of these RVers now are not using the things that were used in the 80s. They're not using traditional phone book type, marketing, platforms that, I think a lot of the old RV parks, are accustomed to. And so we want to make sure that, they're found in Google, found on social media. And, what we do is we drive a ton of traffic to the site, based on what kind of, camping experience it is. If it's glamping or RV parks, RV resorts, Class A lot sales, we drive as much traffic to the site. And then once we're there, we want to make sure we get those visitors to convert, raise their hand and, pick up the phone and call, fill out a form, or book an online reservation.
When we talk about new items within the industry, I mean, you just rattled off several of them. I mean, glamping is brand new, and parks that people buy the land, parks that people just buy the land and the building's already on. There's all these different places. So you deal with companies that are not only just trying to fill a transient site, but to possibly sell a stake in the park to that person who owns that site. Is that right?
Absolutely. So, we can deal with any type of, we have long-term clients like you see in the Houston market where, we're focusing on, the work camper that's kind of, workforce housing that's kind of staying there for the oil industry, so we help them secure, long-term stays. And then, the regions like South Florida, North Carolina, Southern California, like we discussed earlier, is, that's more of a lead generation and sales play. And so we'll help those, Class A parks set up, CRM systems, and then basically drive a bunch of traffic, to lead generation page that fills out the information. We can shove it into a CRM system and then build an automated journey, for those RVers. And then, at that point, it leads to, sales and lot sales. And we've got fantastic, success, helping Golden Palm sell out and Thornton Creek and, selling a ton of lots over, helping, Motor Coach Country Club, et cetera.
Yeah. And, the thing is this, people don't understand the number of touches that you have to make to the prospect to turn them from a prospect to, from a suspect to a prospect to an owner. But doesn't it doesn't it boggle your mind when you look at some RV park websites and see that they are either archaic or they're the kind that one company does the same thing for everybody and just changes the name of XYZ Park? Why do you need something specific today to stand out?
Yeah, you cannot use cookie cutter templates. And what we've seen, in the industry is that, cookie cutter templates, become security issues and scalability issues, for RV parks, campgrounds, aviation unions, all the different verticals, that we work in. And so, everything we do, we basically build custom themes by industry. And so we do have, custom software and applications built, for the, outdoor hospitality industry that allows parks to scale. So what you might want now, for your website or for your digital marketing is not going to be the same, in 3, 4, 5 months down the road. So that's one of the key things about, today's technologies. You cannot set it and forget it. This is I always say to customers, as soon as you go live, you're almost out of date, and you got to make sure, the content changes, on a daily basis or weekly basis, and, always, kind of optimize. So when you start driving traffic to the site, Google and Facebook is, you got to monitor that traffic to make sure that those people are converting and, filling out forms, raising their hands and booking reservations.
Well, you use that term, by the time you're ready to go live, you're out of date. And that is with an electronic based system. Think of the old days of putting together printed catalogs that you had to do a season or 6 or 8 months in advance. You couldn't take advantage of any current events or news events to talk about that would be in your marketing mix.
Well, that's a great, we've got a current example. Sunlight Resorts is a fantastic brand, out of Florida. And we wanted to be big and bold, over the summertime. And, it was very easy with today's technology because, like you said, back in the day, you have to, once it hits the print, you can't change it for another 12 months. Is that, we were able to launch, promotions, book 3 nights for $99, get a free slice of pizza, and, enjoy the pool. And so that's the beauty of the internet. And that's what I kind of fell in love with, 20 years ago, is that, how dynamic this environment is.
You know what? Get them into the park, get them to touch it and feel it and see it and experience it. It's kind of like the analogy of when you're going into a food store and they give you a sample of food that you weren't intending to buy. It wasn't on the list, but somebody handed it to you. You tried it, you put it in your shopping cart, and it became part of your weekly routine. From that,
I think Trader Joe's does that very well.
You brought up Sunlight Resorts. In one of the topics that we've had recently here with other companies like Blue Water Development up in Maryland, sure. You've got companies that knew nothing about the RV industry years ago. And, our other people that we've done some work with, Blue Water, they were condominiums and shopping center people, developers. And I guess Sunlight was the same thing where they did housing and stuff like that. But now they've got 4 properties either open or ready to open in Florida.
Yeah, that's actually one of the big key factors of Big Rig Media is, our depth in the, RV industry and ground up build outs, lot sales, park model sales. And so a lot of the, new, I guess I would say new money coming into the industry from other, verticals such as multifamily or, storage. We basically guide them along the way and help them drive revenue. And so we become basically, a key part of their team. And, they've got our cell phone numbers. If they have questions, they can call us on speed dial and we can help them through the process. And, we did that with another property, up in Colorado region as a family building a very nice, park. And, we basically, walk them through the way of what you actually need to do, what software, where to market, what kind of media buying you need to do to get that park packed.
Exactly. So, you know what? The amazing thing is, no matter how much time you budget for a segment like this, you always run out of time. And we're just about out of time, but I want to ask you if you'll come back with us at another time to tell us more about things that you've got going.
Absolutely. So thanks for having me on, and look forward to chatting with you again.
Great. So tell our people, again, the name of the company, and we'll put the website down below. So if there's any businesses out there that want to talk with you, they can do that.
Absolutely. So the company is Big Rig Media. You can visit us online at www.bigrigmedia.com. If you want to schedule a no hassle, no BS, conversation with us, just click on schedule a call right there on the homepage, and we can talk about how we can help your business.
There you go. My name is John DePietro. His name is Jeff Beyer. Actually, he should be Jeff Seller because you're doing more selling than buying, right, Jeff?
Well, we do both. So, I do selling. That's right. I do a lot of lead generation. We're packing parks.
Big Rig Media is the company, and we want to thank you for your time.